So I'm sitting with
Garrett Lamppa
and Lindsey Lamppa.
And let's get right to it. Who is your father?
Daryl Lamppa.
Yeah.
And what is it like growing up with Daryl Lamppa as your father? Lindsey.
He's very hardworking, but he's kind of absent a lot because he was always perfecting his stove.
What is your first memory, Garrett, of the sauna business, particularly?
Sauna business, wood burning. I know all the effort and the time that has gone into developing our products, making them the best, making them last. I mean, I would say that borderline, or I would say that it borders on obsessive, what you would say with the way my dad, handles the little details of something. Like when he got into learning about clean burning and developing a product, like he doesn't just go to level from 1 to level 2. He goes from 1 to level 2,000.
And how did your mom deal with all that?
She had her friends. She did her own thing.
Yeah.
She really created her own balance of life. But she also gets along with my dad very well. But she also created her own.
One of the things I
identity.
love about your dad is that he's a great scholar of wood burning, as an
Yeah.
example. I mean, you always hear about safety and all of that, but he was really focused on the efficiency of wood burning as a science. But he was also he's also such a great tester. Like, what was it like with your grandfather? I mean, would you go over and watch your grandfather and your dad testing wood burning much? Did you get involved in that?
Well, I remember it being set up in my grandpa's garage, but then I also remember, we're talking every single day of the week. My dad would work 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. He would go home, have supper, go back to the shop already by about 6:30 at night, and then he would pick up myself and my sister at my grandparents' house. Who lived on the same block as the shop. And so, that's his time when he got to work on the testing after the day's welding and everything was done dealing with customers. And so he was burning wood all day long, but the stuff he was developing, that's when he was really working on it, was later, after hours, weekends, and this is just basically what we grew up with, all we knew. Because that's all he did our entire childhood.
And we loved it though, because we loved going to our grandparents' house. It was a way to kind of and they would always take us out and get hamburgers and take us out to the casino and stuff. So it was just nice being able to be there. And then Dad would always show up after testing to pick us up to bring us home.
Especially as kids, we grew up 5 miles out of town.
Yes.
And so if you don't have a driver's license, or if you didn't want to bike or rollerblade like we do now, that was our way to get in a tower, to see our friends.
Yes.
And so, it just kind of worked out very well, always knowing that he was back at the shop and willing to pick us up later at night.
Yeah, and we had a key to our grandparents' house too. So if they weren't home, it was like our second home anyway, so.
This is sauna country up here in northern Minnesota. Explain for people this region. Where are we, first of all?
We're in northern Minnesota, so, very close to Embarrass. Our shop is located in Tower. A lot of our ancestors came over here and immigrated to the Embarrass region. And, both of her and I growing up Finnish American over here. A lot of our friends, a lot of their families have old school saunas that they've been doing on a weekly basis, Wednesday, Saturday through, since we've since as far back as I can remember. Yeah. And when you deal with the sauna up in this country, it's old school, it's authentic. It gets into the real art of wood burning, and then just the rituals of sauna, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully said. Lindsey, would you, as a student, growing up and stuff, were you a little bit of a novelty with your dad making stoves that a lot of families had? Or was it not a big deal to be Lamppa with your classmates and your friends?
I think because we all grew up so close since we were so little, we didn't think of each other as a novelty. We just were all the same. That's how I kind of.
Yeah, awesome. So talking a little bit about this family business. What's it feel like, Lindsey, for you to see your brother engaged, much like your dad? I mean, do you see a lot of your dad and your brother?
Oh, as he's getting older, yes.
What's it like to come up and see him engaged in this family business?
I love it. Yeah, it's great. And I love when I see him doing interviews or newspaper articles. He's really learned the business of burning wood, and he's really learned everything about it, which I'm very impressed.
There's people all over North America, even other countries, that have a Kuma, and people like us, we absolutely love the heat, that's involved in it, and also some of these guiding principles that your dad harnessed about safety and efficiency and the environment. What sort of goals? I'll start with you, Lindsey. What would be like a real excitement for you to see in the world of sauna as it relates to the Kuma?
I would like to see like celebrities get them in their homes, and like to even have them in like gyms, like
more celebrities.
Well, I would like to see it kind of like more like worldwide, like how do I explain it? Like, how like a certain makeup brand and it's like well known, the brand of Kuma.
Yeah. Well, your brother says it right. I mean, this is sauna country up here.
Yes.
And this is like the real deal sauna. Real heat, real steam, real ventilation. And I think you're right. I think as people climb the authentic ladder of quality sauna, they're going to come over and find Kuma.
Yes, and that would be wonderful.
Well, and I think it speaks to just what we've experienced today. So we had the two couples that came up here to each pick up their small Kuma wood burning stove this morning. They kind of made it an event. They were taking pictures everywhere, going in front of the Kuma sign outside. Got to pick some Kuma rocks over here. They really enjoyed that kind of stuff. And me personally, that's what I really like to see. I like to see people that have heard about our story, that love the good heat, great heat, love what we stand for, because that's what it is. It's a family business. We're small. We've tried to keep it that way. We want to be authentic. And so when you're coming to Kuma, what you get is the real deal.
Exactly. Quality too.
Good.
Well, in my head at one point I was like, so that basically his favorite kid was the stove.
The
behind
stove,
him.
it was. Well, truthfully, it's like, but it's the obsessive stuff. Like
Yeah.
he really dials into whatever he's doing. Whether it's planning his knee surgery for 20 years or shooting a basketball, or that's really what he's doing. He really gets into, when he gets into something, he wants to learn the ins and outs about how it works, how it operates, how he can make it better.
Well, he's all or nothing.
Very well said.
Beautiful.
Go big or go home.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, Daryl and Cheryl Lamppa had, would you say, 2 children or 4 children?
4.
Yeah, definitely 4.
There's 2 sitting here, and there's 2 behind you right now.
That's correct.
And Garrett, explain the other 2 Lamppa children right behind you there.
Well, you can see our wood-burning sauna stove. It's been evolved many times over the years. And then you can see our wood-burning furnace, which is the cleanest burning wood furnace ever tested. Our sauna stove goes all over the United States, Canada, Australia, Europe. We send these all over the place. So, heavy duty, built like a tank, made in America, American steel. Built to last for a generation. So
Lindsey, this one's for you. Is if someone was watching this and considering a sauna stove, I'm asking you this because you're not directly involved in the business. You've avoided a lot of the technical and business side of it. But from your perspective, why would someone be best to choose a Kuma for their sauna stove?
Well, I'd say the reviews speak for themselves. I always, when I'm looking at any sort of product, I'm always looking at the reviews, and I want to know that the product works, and I know that these work.